it together. Peace.
Hey! Life is better
when we do it together.
Hey guys, good evening, and welcome to Happily Ever After.
It's been a long time.
It feels like it's been a long time. And we are so grateful and so glad to see you guys on tonight. Hey, listen, let's do this. Before we get started, will you guys please share this on your sites? And I think we're gonna have a great discussion on tonight. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna laugh a little bit, and we're gonna better our relationships because that's what it's all about. Um, um, Pastor Joe would always have this litany of things that I should say, and I can't remember none of them. So we invite you to join us every Sunday live on our campus. That address is 2213 National Street in Ranco, Virginia, 23231. Service kicks off at 10:30. We're casually dressed, but we have a perfecting praise. We invite you to join us Tuesdays, every Tuesday night.
But if you can't come to our
I'm sorry,
service,
that's right. You can get with us and catch us and fellowship with us right at home and on our YouTube and our Facebook pages. And that keyword for all of our social media sites is 3C Ministry RVA. That's 3C, the number 3C Ministry RVA. If you drop that in the search line on Instagram, on Facebook, or YouTube, it'll bring you right up to Community Christian Center. So if you can't come out in person, and please join us on our social media sites. Tuesday nights, 7:30. 7:30. Join us. Tune Up Tuesday. We're gonna have a great time there. What else, baby?
Month of May.
Month of May is coming up,
woo,
right?
Woo,
woo. And in the month of May, what happens?
Hey, it's Women's Month. Women's Month, save women rock. And the theme this year is walking in my destiny.
So we got some powerful speakers that have come through, and they're going to bless the house. So the first Sunday
is
yours
none
truly,
other than this guy here. Hey, come and join us.
Yeah, come get some. So first May is actually May 1st, isn't it? Yeah.
We're not gonna put the dates. We're just gonna say May 1st because we don't want to mess them up right now. But May 1st, it is
Pastor. You just
say
we're not gonna put the dates, but we're gonna say May 1st.
No, I said the first Sunday. So the first Sunday.
First Sunday in the month is
Pastor J.
Second Sunday in the month is Pastor K. Third Sunday in the month is Pastor
First Lady Delisa.
Yeah, Delisa Lewis. All the way from Delaware.
Delaware is going to be in the house.
She's coming in the house. So we're excited about that.
Yes.
Then the fourth Sunday. Right?
Fourth Sunday.
Fourth Sunday is
Pastor
Flight, the teacher.
Yes.
And then on the fifth Sunday, it's the preacher lady.
It's going to be Elder Angela Vick is going to be in the house. Y'all got to come and check us out.
So cool.
But look, on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, y'all
during the month of May, all month long is Women's Day. So now on Tuesdays, what happens?
Come and check us out. We got a nice lineup for on Tuesdays. So just come check us out for the month of May. All right, come check us out.
Cool. All right. It's gonna be bananas. What's happening, Pastor Joe? So guys, it's gonna be a great month. And fellas, we haven't left you out. Right following that, June is Men's Month, Men of Integrity. It's already planned out. The lineup is gonna be bananas. We got Pastor Joe Huey. We got Pastor Micah Jackson is coming. Pastor Algernon Wills will be in the house, and yours truly, Pastor Jay Sebastian. We gonna rock it. And then on Tuesdays, we cutting it up. I'm going to get my brothers, Chris Moore, and the crew, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna have some great conversations about the impact, the power of being a man of integrity. So it's gonna be a great month, man. It's gonna be a great summer. Guys should just stick around. Hey, listen. We're getting ready to come back with Happily Ever After live and in person. We're preparing to bring it back to the campus, and we're planning a social to kick it all off. Not the night of romance, but a mini social to kick it off. And it's gonna be Pillow Talk with Pastor J and Pastor K. And we're gonna have some fun games. We're gonna have some good music. We're gonna have a little something to eat. We're going to create this atmosphere that fortifies and encourages you to live in your marriage happily ever after. So we're going to get ready to get into tonight's conversation and get down. And if you're wondering, yes, we are home. It is live from our sitting room. Pastor K was like, "You gonna blur it out? You gonna do this?" No, we home. We real folks. Yes, that's a rack of shoes, my shoes that are behind us.
They're not mine.
They are mine.
They're not mine.
They are mine. So yeah. Now ask her where hers is, and you'll understand why mine couldn't fit in the closet. But that's another conversation for another day. So listen, Pastor Karen and I, we really believe in marriage.
Yes.
And the honor of marriage.
Yes.
So if you're not connected with us, let's get connected. Let's do marriage better together. It's real easy to do. Pastor Joel has already dropped it in the comments. All you have to do is text the word happy. Text the word happy to 804-925-1466. When you do, you're going to get a Connect card. That Connect card just simply asks you for 3 simple pieces of information: your name, your cell phone number, your email address. Complete that, send it back. Let's get connected. Let's do marriage. Let's do life better together. So we wanted to add a new feature this month. So every month we're going to feature a song that's playing in our house or in our room. And see what you guys think about it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and just share.
Let us know.
Marriage through songs. So this song I don't think it's new, but it's new to us. We 60 babies over here, but both of us have taken a liking to this song. So enjoy this, and right after this, we're going to get right into our talk for tonight. Okay, let's see if we can get this happening here.
Oh, hey. You don't know, babe, when you hold me and kiss me slowly, it's the sweetest thing. And it don't change. If I had it my way, you would know that you are. You're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're my sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all. I just wanna see. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. follow, no matter how far. Your life is a movie, oh, you're the best part. Oh, you're the best part. Oh, best part.
It's the sunrise and those brown eyes. Yes. You're the one that I desire. When we wake up and then we make love, it makes me feel so nice. You're my water when I'm stuck in the desert. You're the talent all I take when my head hurts. You're the sunshine of my life. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I'll follow, no matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. Oh, you're the best part. Oh, best part. If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you?
Hey,
we back.
We back. I really like that song.
I really do. We almost weren't gonna come back, but we remember we had y'all here, so we had to come back. Y'all know how we do.
Hey, so guys, again, thank you for joining us. I hope you shared. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. And what I want to talk about, Pastor K, is something that you and I have been working on and continue to work on in our relationship, and that's the art of becoming one. And I think it's important to have this conversation because in talking to so many people that are struggling or giving up on their relationship, it's always that we can't come into agreement. We don't see any same thing the same way. We can't find, we don't get along and happy mediums and whatnot. And that's kind of wild, but it makes sense on the other hand because it's the exact place that you would think that the enemy would attack your relationship. And we say this pretty much every time we come on. We preface the fact that the devil don't like you. He don't like God. He don't like you. No matter what you think, he hates your relationship.
He hates it.
So because he hates it, he's purposed attacks against it. John 10:10, this is a church founded broadcast, reminds us that the thief comes but to kill, steal, and destroy. So whenever you think about the enemy and his interactions or his thoughts against you, his thoughts concerning your relationship, you're never going to find it to be anything good because his purpose is to kill, steal, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you start trying to figure out how to relate, immediately you begin to understand that marriage is not of this world. It's a kingdom concept. The first marriage that's ever performed is performed by God. he puts Adam and Eve together. He declares that it's not good for man to be alone. He takes his rib, forges woman, and presents the bride to the groom. So, marriage is not of this world. We live it, we celebrate it in this world, but the concepts of marriage flow from the kingdom of God.
Right.
So the only way to successfully do marriage is to do it through the concepts or the construct founds of the kingdom. And whenever we start trying to take something kingdom and fulfill it carnally, we always come up short. And that's what happens in a lot of people's marriage. And now you're hearing this, I don't feel the same way. I don't love you anymore. I fell out of love. Yeah. And again, we attribute all of that to me. I changed what I think and the decisions that I'm willing to make concerning you. Because when I loved you, I was willing to put up with you. And now I'm no longer willing to, put up with you. So I've changed my mind concerning you. And that's what falling out of love is like, I've changed my mind.
Right.
So I think my thought, behind all of this is maybe we change our mind, or it's so easy to change your mind is because you never became what God intended you to be. And that was one that, we found places of agreement. And that was the foundation of our marriage, because that's what marriage is. Marriage is founded in covenant agreement. So when we think of it from that perspective, we better understand the instructions that God gave. So, guys, let's just look at a few slides here. I hope that helps bring this to life. And again, we're talking about the art of becoming one. So if we had a scripture, it would come from the book of Genesis, the second chapter, verses 23 through 24. And it basically says this: therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That's good reading right there. So there were three elements that we kind of can touch on real quick before we move on. Is that there was an element that you would have to leave. Second was to cleave. And the third instruction was to become one. So in order for us to get to 2 and 3, you got to deal with the one. The first thing he said was to leave. And, guys, he's not saying you have to abandon your family, leave your mother, your father and your mother and cleave into your wife. What he's talking about, baby, is changing priorities, changing your focus, your
Is that now
energy.
that
Yeah.
we are each other's priority?
Yes, yes. So literally, it's a priority shift. It's not an abandonment of the family. You is literally an extension of the family, but it's really about what you focus on, and the second thing he said was to cleave. Now, there's a sexual element into that, but it's also a bonding, a soul bonding, where we start to, you always say we think just alike. And this 33 years, how many years of being around each other? 33 years of marriage in June.
37 together.
37 years of being around each other. Yes, we're going to start to think alike or have similar thoughts, see things similarly, and that's what we've grown into. But that's the place you want to grow to, where the thoughts are the same. The processes may be different, but the thoughts are the same. The goals are the same. So that's cleaving. When we start to do this thing, to see this thing the same way, the same magnitude, with the same commitment. And then lastly, he said, become one. This is the hardest part, because in order for us to become one,
something got to die.
And that's the hardest part for people, is to allow that something to die. And we're going to talk about it. It's not like I have to totally forget myself, but it does require me to lose myself.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, whenever something dies, it can become the pathway for something new to be birthed out. And that's literally what God is talking about is your singleness dying so that you can accomplish or achieve or grow in your togetherness. It's just like we talked about the thoughts. We have the cleaving is to learn how to think the same way and to have the same ambitions and the same goals for our marriage. That cleaving, but it also allows us to become one. It allows us to become committed to the same goals with the same passions. Case in point, God just blessed us with a beautiful home. And Pastor K, due to some medical issues, hasn't worked. And I could have took the disposition of, well, I got to pay for it. I'm gonna do it all of myself. But that's not us being one. So, she was involved in the whole process. Her name is on paperwork, but she was involved in the whole process because ultimately we are. Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about 5, I believe.
Where is it? If they make comments, where would that come up at?
Right there.
Oh, okay.
So guys, drop any comments, any thoughts, any whatever you have. And if it's somebody just on yours, then you may just see it on your phone. So yeah. Feel free to share your comments, your thoughts, any questions that you might have. We'll do our best. We are not up here bragging, boasting to be experts who know it all, but we've experienced right much in this 37 years of being together. So
we're the professional in where we are.
I like that. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's walk through this. So 5 ways to become one in marriage. 5 ways. So the first way is this. Investing in your spouse. Matthew 6:21. I love this. Jesus reminds us of this. He says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So investing in your spouse. Where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. So you want to start or you want me to go?
You.
Okay. So here's this. Investing in your spouse. The first thing probably that popped up is, well, I buy her this, I buy her that. I buy, I give, I gift. Guys, that's not it. Jesus says, where your treasure, where your most valued things are, that's where your heart is. And your spouse, when you start investing in your spouse becomes a part of your treasure. So that's where your heart is. What does that mean? That means that because I'm vested with my spouse, I make decisions that are good for my spouse. I make concessions that are beneficial to my spouse. Case in point, I do not like, what's the channel, baby? Lifetime? Is that the channel?
Lifetime. You don't like that.
Hallmark.
You don't like that. The Western.
The
channel.
Waltons. She watches the Waltons. Okay, I can get with some of the Cowboys, but the Waltons, yes. And if you watch the Waltons, y'all know she watched Little House on the Prairie. So it's that
Highway to Heaven.
Yeah. Here we go, right? But because she is where my heart is, I will come in, pull up
y'all.
Put
just this much.
Up. Hey, but watch this.
Just as much.
I'm making the concession to invest in her And at the same time, I'm conceding. I'm not coming in trying to fight for the remote. It's amazing because the room we're sitting in was supposed to be our room. When we hung the TV on the wall, when we bought the couch, and the couch has a Chase lounge, and then we bought what's the thing called? Ottoman that you put your feet up on, and it was all done. This our room, this our space. This is her room, this is her space, and I get to be a visitor every now and again.
It's the upstairs den now.
And that's not what it was intended to be, but that's what she's made it. And I have to make concessions because her happiness, watch this, her happiness is in my heart. So, yes, my grandbabies are all over the room. That's not what this room was supposed to be. But I concede until football season coming. Then them jokers got to go, okay? So, number 1 says you got to learn how to invest in your spouse. Make your spouse a part of your treasure. Ensure that your spouse, has a big part of your heart. And when you do that, we tend to cater better one to another. We're more cautious and conscious about the decisions we make, the things we do, the words we say when we treasure our spouse. So number 1 says we got to learn how to invest in your spouse. Number 2. All right. Laying down your need to be right. Romans 12:10 reminds us this. Honor one another above yourself. The Judaism is this. Winning ain't winning if your spouse loses.
I mean, that's enough. You just dropped the mic with that.
So it says, don't get hung up on being right. We hear this all the time when we're having marriage coaching sessions and whatnot. And, the fight is about who's right. And then you turn around and make your spouse your enemy so that you can be right. And I'm telling you, man, winning ain't winning if your spouse is losing. You got to think about that. Yeah, I might have won the argument, but what did I lose in the process of winning the argument? Here's what righteous says, because marriage is about righteous. It's about being in a right place with God. And that's the premise of marriage. And here's what righteousness says. Righteousness says that sometimes I have to lose my rights in order to be righteous. In other words, a person could wrong me and I would have a right to respond in kind. But righteousness says that whenever possible, I rise above that. The scripture said to honor one another above yourself, to esteem the other person more highly. And if you do that with your mate and you're doing that with each other, then it's none of this lowballing. Nobody has to feel insufficient or anything in the relationship if I'm constantly esteeming you above myself. And it allows you to guard the decisions that you make. You're less apt to do something that would offend your spouse or your mate when you're esteeming them above yourself, when you're honoring them above yourself, because that means you're thinking about them, but you're also thinking about how the decisions I make
will affect them.
Yes. So, to be honest, I had to grow to this place because I was very selfish.
We both was. Or any couple, if they really be honest, they were.
So, and you don't stop being selfish until you start to honor, each other. And that's when I, to start to see, and man, I still have emotional moments when I think about how some of the stuff I did and things I participated in impacted you. So it's funny when we get on this subject. If I'm talking about it, it doesn't hurt. If you start talking about it, it hurts because it becomes so vivid in my imagination, how those things impacted you. So, honor is now that thing that helps me, you know, guard myself because temptations are still there. I'm still good looking. Uh, but now, you got this thought about honoring God. And because I honor God, it allows me to ensure that I'm honoring my wife. So, yeah, yeah. Being right ain't right if you make your spouse a loser. So just something to think about. We're number three, right? Number three. Number three says, let go of the past.
This one is probably hard for most couples.
Isaiah 43:18 says this: forget the former things, do not dwell in the past. The Judaism, it's hard to move forward when you're constantly looking backwards. So, Pastor K, you said that's probably hard. Come on, elaborate. Help us out.
I just think that that's probably just hard for most people because we live in the past a lot. You know, when it comes to our hurts and our disappointments and stuff, because it's easy to pull those things up and bring those things up.
Right.
You know, because those things are there, so we just pull them up. It's just easier. Sometimes I just can't put it into words or explain it, but it's just other than that, it's just easier.
One of the things I didn't like. I love my grandmother, but I didn't like when my grandmother beat me because she always brought up stuff from the past in this present in the present beating session. And I was like, this is totally unfair because we already dealt with that behavior and you've already chastised me for that behavior. And here you are bringing it up again. And and that's how we are, that we'll say something is done and we're good, we'll move past it until something else happens or something familiar happens and it causes us to go get the past and dredge it back up. Now, I'm not speaking for all men, but I know this is a complaint of a lot of men, is that she told me we was good and then she brought it back up, and I'm not saying that this is easy to get over things, but this is what you're working towards, processing. This is how you create better, more effective communication styles, hearing each other. I know Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi say they don't argue, they just have loud conversations. So, and sometimes that's where it ends up, that you're having emotional, loud conversation.
But I remember when we get, back when, and I early on in marriage, even when I would get loud, you would walk off. You're like, I'm not listening to you when you do that. So when you want to talk, you need to calm that voice. I'm not going to listen when you do that.
I don't like being yelled at. I really don't. And so,
I am a yeller.
She is the louder of the two. Let's put it that way. I love her to life, but when our conversations get loud, it's normally her starting to and I'll ask her sometimes, why are you screaming? Why are you yelling? I ain't yelling, I'm just talking loud. I was like, well, what is what's your definition of yelling? I thought that's what yelling was, but
Look, it's almost like, look, because you're taller than me, so I'm yelling so you can hear me.
But seriously, guys, if you're going to succeed in marriage, you have to be quick to forgive. Things are going to happen. Now, that things happen on different levels and they impact your marriage differently, and the process of forgiving and moving past it is different. But to think that you're going to be married 20, 30, 40 years or whatever it is, and something doesn't happen that offends you or for lack of better words, just downright pisses you off or whatever, that's ridiculous. It's going to happen. He's going to say something. She's going to do something that offends. It's what do you do with the offense? Do you allow it to become a wedge, or do we process it? And if we can't process it ourselves, go get help. Stop this stuff, man, of this pride where you're going to allow issues to invade your home, invade your marriage, and cause you to lose something that God intended to be a blessing to you simply because you got too much pride to go get some help. No, Jesus told us in the beginning that the enemy hates our marriage. So he's looking for opportunities to kill, steal, and destroy. So we have to be intentional and purposeful and doing things that build, that develop, and that allows us to become closer. Stuff is going to happen. Don't stop. Stop making everything a big deal. Everything is not a fight. Sometimes you just go upstairs and watch ESPN and let it be. We got more than one TV. Go upstairs. Go for a walk. Go stand on the deck. If you don't have a deck, just go stand in the backyard. Go get the dog. Go talk to the dog. Sometimes it's not worth the emotional outpour and outburst that we have. If you just gather yourself, process. And I thank God for stealing my tongue, to the point that I don't always say what's on my mind. And I understand that sometimes the adversary is just simply trying to manipulate a situation to cause confusion that leads to chaos, and chaos leads to, separation or divorce. No, you got to start seeing this thing, guys, from the same lens. The devil doesn't like you. He is not for your marriage. So you got to start going at it from that, that perspective, that the devil doesn't like my marriage, and he's out to kill, steal, and destroy. So that was number 3, right, baby?
4.
That was 3. Number 4 says what? Not forgetting your own needs. Not forgetting your own needs. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whatever you do it all for the glory of God. My Judaism. Marriage requires me to lose myself, not to forget myself.
I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I know we said that in order to cleave that, and for the two to become one, that something dies, but you don't die.
Right.
Stuff that you do, or the ways that you think, or how you may have handled business, all that stuff has to merge. So those are old things that pass away, so you can create new processes that are for the success of the marriage. But still in the marriage, there's 2 individuals, and you deserve your personal time, your personal space. You deserve to care for yourself. Self-care is not selfish.
Right.
Not to have self-care is selfish.
It's foolish.
It's foolish. Yeah. So, take moments for yourself. And think of it this way. Here's my analogy that hopefully makes this really, really simple. Think about food and adding salt. Whenever you add salt to the food, you no longer can see the salt. But whenever you taste the food, the salt is there.
Yes.
And if you ever make certain foods and leave out the salt, you can tell that the salt is missing. That's us in our marriage. I lose myself. I blend in, to make the marriage the most important thing. But just because I lose myself, I'm not forgotten. Because if I forget myself, then I'm absent from the marriage,
That's good.
and my spouse will know that I'm missing. So be like salt, blend in, enhance, make it better. But then, also be your own individual. Have time. I love, when she goes and hangs out with her sisters and whatnot, her girls, and they do their thing. It makes my heart happy. I try to find 55 cents to make it happen for her, and it's the same. It was wild. I think
y'all went to
when
the
we went
football
game in Vegas was the first time I probably been home. I mean, away from home in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and I was like, man, finally, I used to always be concerned, like, I don't want to go nowhere and embarrass myself, and act stupid. And finally, I was at this game, and I'm like, I am finally mature enough to do some grown folks things and not get caught up in the atmosphere of what was going on around us, because the atmosphere was crazy. We were in Vegas, so the atmosphere was crazy.
And he was with his bros.
So the atmosphere was crazy. But just because I was in a chaotic, crazy atmosphere, it didn't have to be in me. I knew who I was. So it's the same thing in your marriage. Just because you are engrossed in the marriage doesn't mean that you stop being you, or you stop needing time for you, or you stop needing to find the very thing that makes you feel good about you. I see Miss Goldie, Sister Goldie is watching, and I know that she started off as an avid walker, and now she's a runner. And I'm quite sure that's why the benefits are to everybody. That's her thing, being out on the track or wherever. Find your thing. Both you and your spouse, it's great to do things together. Watch Little House on the Prairie or
Don't do that.
Gunsmoke.
Don't do that.
We watched Gunsmoke with Festa.
I'm not a big fan of, I love sports, but I'm not a big fan of ESPN. No, all day. Like, oh my gosh. Over and over and over and over.
And we got about 5 ESPNs now, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
So again, I don't expect her to watch ESPN. I just expect her to allow me to watch ESPN in peace. And I ain't trying to interrupt her Little House on the Prairie, Gunsmoke.
And now we have stations where he can watch all of whatever Dolphin stuff have on TV.
That's right.
I don't know what kind of app this guy done put on the TV that he could, whatever the Dolphins got going on, he can watch.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So find your own thing, guys. It doesn't mean that you don't care about your spouse because you have your own thing. If you're a golfer, go golf. If you like the gun range like I do, go shoot. If you're a gym rat, go work out. It's that thing that keeps you sound. It's the thing that keeps you alive. It's personal care. It's personal moments. We all deserve them. Make sure you're taking yours. So remember that. Just because marriage requires me to lose myself, not to forget myself. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of the golden goose. You're the golden goose of your relationship. Take care of the golden goose. Okay, so we're at the last one. Man. And number 5 says what? Number 5. Setting goals together. Amos 3:3 raises this question. Can 2 walk together except they be agreed? The Judaism is, remember, the plan is the place of agreement. So guys, setting goals together. Again, I'll bring up our house. It was crazy. The whole process was crazy. But I think about how we did it together, how we thought. Listen, even from moving from one house to going into the house in Chesterfield. We went in with a plan. We went in with a goal. We're going to be here for 2 years at the most. Matter of fact, when we moved in, the thought was, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. We got a 2-year plan. We're going to be here for 2 years. We're going to save this money. We're going to save this money. We're going to pay off some debt. We're going to get this credit where it needs to be. And we out of here. We are getting our own house. And it wasn't even 2 years.
Did not take 2 years.
It wasn't even a year and a half, to be honest. It was about a year and 3 months. We were able to go over, get things paid off, save the money we needed to save. And believe me, there was a whole lot of God intervention all along the way. That's another story for another day. But the thing about it is that the plan was the place of agreement. Whenever things got rough, whenever things seemed like we were off course, whenever somebody wanted to go and have a moment of spending, we can always come back to the plan and the purpose for why we're doing it. That's why the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. Write it so you can always come back to read it. It reminds you, it reinvigorates you of why you're working, why you're sacrificing, why you're doing what you're doing. And that's the beauty of the accomplishment of sitting here today, is that it helps us to understand that when we're focused, when we're in agreement, it's just like the Bible says, that you can ask what you will and it shall be done. It gave us that faith. It built our faith, man. I don't know. Yeah, to that place where we really believe, when we're in agreement, when we're focused, when we're working together, what can't we do? Yeah. What can't we do? As long as God is in the midst, God, what can't we accomplish? And that's your marriage, man. And you got to understand, this is what the devil hates about your marriage, is your marriage makes you like God. It's not just your gifts, it's both of you putting your gifts, your talents, and your anointing together, your focus. You're in agreement. He hates agreement.
Hates it.
And you're in agreement and you're accomplishing, you're bringing forth fruit. And man, he hates that. So he's coming after that. But you got to know that the devil hates your marriage. He hates your relationship. So you got to be purpose and intentional on doing things that fortify, that build, that edify your marriage. And if you edify your marriage, you will honor each other. If you focus on your marriage, not just your individuality, but if you focus on your marriage and the purpose for your marriage, doing our marriage coaching, we often tell people, write the purpose of your marriage. God didn't create anything without a purpose. So learn to write the purpose of your marriage. Write your plans, write your goals. And then when things get hard, come back to them. Let them be your faith builder and your reminders of why you're sacrificing, why you're pushing, why you're doing what you're doing to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So guys, that's it. We stay right on course with our time. Hey, I don't see any questions. You got any questions? Anybody got any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? I don't see them. Nope. Cool. Yeah. So guys, as usual, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Again, we want to invite you all to come check us out Sunday mornings at 10:30. Our campus address is 2213 National Street in Henrico, Virginia. Service kicks off at about 10:30. Tuesday nights at 7:30 for Tune Up Tuesday. But in May, again, ladies, all of this, we're celebrating ladies all month long. We're turning the whole ministry over. So every Sunday, come connect with Pastor K and one of her special guests. Every Tuesday, Talk to Me Tuesday. She's going to hang out. Quite sure she's got some guests coming through. And it's just going to be a great time. We finished, babe?
We're finished.
We love you guys with the love of the Lord. God bless you real, real good. See you next time. Peace. Hey! Welcome to Community Christian Center, better known as